I just wanted to drop back in and have a little catch up with you because I was not able to last week. Last week I was sitting in a whole bunch of emotions that I just wasn't really able to do anything with apart from process. And now that I'm a little bit further with processing them, I thought it'd be really good to hop on and have a little share about how that whole thing is going. So as you know from my last video, I was diagnosed with POTS, which is great because at least there's a pathway on what we do next and looking at how I can help myself as well as what treatments can be given to me. I think for me, when I'm about to do emotional processing, I can go a bit numb initially because numb's an emotion, right? But also, as I've said before, I am a neurodiverse person, so I do have ADHD, and it does affect like how I deal with things and whether I'm able to yet, or like if I am feeling a whole bunch of things, how I'm able to express that or not express that. Like, I don't know, having never been neurotypical, I don't really have like a comparison point. But yeah, so I think what really hit me last week was just lots of sadness. I think the story I've been telling myself for the past 2 years is a story that's along the lines of, I'll just do these things and then I'll feel better and then everything will go back to normal and things will be great. And so I think what's really hit me is that that might not be real anymore, and it hasn't been real for a while, but I've been in a pretty solid state of denial. And I think that with the POTS diagnosis, what I'm really beginning to understand is like a layered situation is that you have times where you feel pretty good and then other times you're really going to be totally smashed. And there's things that you can do obviously, but then that's just part of the process. It's just what is and what will happen. And so it's coming to terms that that is going to change everything. Yeah, so sadness for sure, fear, bricking it. I'm absolutely bricking it. I'm scared about change because even though I can embrace it and get on with it, it's still really scary and it's uncomfortable. And you know, it does mean massive life changes for me that I didn't see happening for myself. So there's a fair bit of grief as well, like letting go of the picture that I thought I had, that I was going towards. I mean, I'm 40 now, so technically speaking, I'm in my peak money making years, and that's kind of where I was. That's what I had fought for and reached, and I found myself really unseated from that by health stuff, which has been pretty rude. There's also fear about like, am I even going to be able to get back there? And I mean, it's unwritten, right? So I've got to sit with not knowing at the minute. And as much as I can mentally make plans and, you know, have like a pathway for every single event that might happen, it still doesn't change the fact that even when you've logicked out a pathway, you have to feel the emotions that are going to hit you. And that's what's been happening. And I haven't been sharing it because I need to have righted myself to a level so I'm not just totally unable to articulate what's going on and living in a little bubble of gloom. Cannot make a video of myself from that place. It's not for me. I thought it would be cool to have a chat about some of the things that I use to help balance me out while I'm in those zones, because I've had years of therapy and have found some really cool stuff along the way that is really helpful to me. So there's a couple of people that do a whole bunch of online meditations and talks, and they're totally incomparable. So we've got Tara Brach. She specifically has a meditation that she calls Rain, and I've been listening to Tara for so long that I now just have integrated it into my moments of like overwhelm, anxiety, fear, all the big emotions. So I'm going to give you like a little overview, but Tara explains it way better than me, and I'll stick a link down below so you can find that meditation and get around it yourself. But essentially what I do as almost like an instinctive process now when I'm having big emotions is just put my hand in the center of my chest, acknowledge what's happening for myself, and then I'm like, of course you are, babe. Like, of course you are, darling. It's a really tough time right now. Anyone would feel like that. This feeling really does belong, and it's okay. And just kind of try to sit with compassion for myself and the feeling instead of fighting against it. Find that really, really helpful. Part of it is also like getting a bit curious about the feeling, exploring like its color, size, shape, where it sits in the body, what kind of sensations it elicits. And that sort of enables you to just step back a little bit from the feeling, so it's not so all-encompassing, so that you're kind of, you still feel it, but you're slightly more outside of it, and therefore you have a little bit more control. So that's been pretty revolutionary. And then Kirsten Neff, she does a lot of stuff, Dr. Kirsten Neff, on self-compassion, and she also has a range of meditations that can be easily found and are free. And again, I'm going to link that below so you can check it out should you wish to. All of that stuff is really, really life-changing and really, really helpful when you do have to live in uncertainty and you don't know how things are going to go. And then I'm kind of filming this from my sewing room, which is not the most aesthetically beautiful, but it is somewhere that I like to be. And it's got aircon on a really stinking hot day. And also it kind of brings me back to another strategy that I use when I'm well enough to tolerate sitting up. And also because of my neurodiversity, I don't generally do well with just sitting and thinking about things, because my mind is like shiny things, right? Like very distracted. So I can't kind of bring it back in. But what I find I can do is when I'm working on a project, my hands are doing something, my brain kind of is thinking about what needs to happen next, and it has some level of attention on the project, because obviously if I lose my focus, I'm going to stuff it up. But I find that sitting and sewing really, really helps. It's the one place that I can just kind of drop back into my body and sit there and let whatever comes up, come up. So, helpful or not, I'm sharing it. This just happens to be a really cute jacket made out of faux fur that I'm creating for one of my mates who is incomparable and helpful and loving and just so hands-on in their support for me. And when I worked out that they would quite like to have a jacket, I was like, oh, they're good for you. So yeah, you can see it's got like big pockets on the outside, and it's also got pockets on the inside with the lining, and I've got the zip and I've got the ribbing now, so I'm really excited to kind of crack on with that today and have a bit of a go, which is delightful. You see me sitting here as I am because I've just come back from the cardiologist, and I happen to be kitted up with a Holter monitor. I'll just show you. I'm not indecent, I swear. I've just got wires. Yeah, so that's what's happening now. And that's it's a strange thing, right? Because for me, perhaps it's like an introception thing with my body, like because there is such a long history of suffering and pain and all the things that you get with funky bodies with weird conditions, I'm very inclined to just tune it out, or you know, when something happens I'm like, and then I just distract myself and carry on. But I've been symptom tracking for the past little while because it's one of the tools I'm using to kind of go to the specialists or to the GP and say, this is what's been happening for me. And it's been a bit weird. And today especially is a bit weird because I've got to hit the little incident button every time that something happens with my heart rate or my symptoms, or like nausea, standing up, getting dizzy, feeling tired, feeling like my heart's beating loudly. And I guess through years of minimizing what's happening, I'm always second guessing myself. So I might feel like a thing, let's just say heart beating strongly in my chest, and I'll be like, yeah, but is it bad enough to push the button? I mean, that's my whole life, right? Like, is it bad enough to go to the doctor? Is it bad enough to go to ED? Can you still stand? Can you stand while hunched over and supported on something? I mean, it's all, like, I think my baseline stuff has really warped. I started having a chat to my wife about this the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, got shooting pains in both boobs. It's been happening for years. Have asked for an ultrasound on occasion. It's come back with nothing. Must just be me, you know. And she's like, but you don't say. And I'm like, why don't I say? Like, nothing can be done, and no one wants to hear you go, oh, that hurt. I'm in pain now. Yeah. Like, no one wants to hear it. It's really boring for other people to hear that you're in pain and that stuff is happening to you, or it's quite stressful for them. And it doesn't really change anything other than, I don't know what, they just look at you with pity. So I just don't. Probably common, right? For a lot of people with chronic illness, probably common. If it's common for you, please reassure me that I'm not some kind of minimizing freak. That'd be great. All right, so yeah, kind of back on track a little bit. Explant surgery is booked for Saturday. So I'm feeling, since we're on a feelings like theme today, I'm feeling both very hopeful that my body might be slightly more comfortable after the surgery. So that's one thing. I'm feeling perhaps quite excited that I'll be a little bit less top heavy, and that maybe that will help me a bit with some of my back pain. And it will reduce like the heaviness on my chest, and that like it might be quite a relief to have them out, considering that they are gel textured, not safe to be put in humans. Relief that they're gone. Hoping for an improvement to the lymph node situation that happens in here. Always swelling and becoming annoyed. I have no idea if it's connected to that, perhaps. So that's all the good stuff, right? That's all the stuff that you're like, yeah, tick, tick, tick. Also, if I am ever able to run again, like, you know what I mean? If that's on the cards, then there'll be a lot less in the way of jiggling. Brilliant. Or will there? I don't know. It's going to be like saggy pockets. I don't know, which brings me to my second bit, which is the not so pleasant stuff. So as I mentioned, part of the whole situation that made me get them was the body dysmorphia, which is still real. It's on a soundtrack. We know, we've talked about that. But when I'm unwell and tired, it gets louder. And I'm going to wake up after this surgery with possibly flat, saggy breast pockets with nothing in them. And so I'm scared about that in a way that makes me want to put my hand on my chest and say nice things to myself. Because it's a big emotion. But it's the best chance I have of healing well without complications. And I really wouldn't like to have immediate lift surgery and lose a nipple or something like that, because part of my picture is that I don't heal particularly fast or well, and that my scars become hypotrophic, which means they stretch out and they can break open. I would really hate for that to be the result. So I think that keeping it simple, giving my body lots of healing time, and keeping my mind open, sitting in the uncertainty again around how they might look after, has got to be how it is. And also financially, it's all we got, honey. It's all we got right now. She hasn't been at work for a solid couple of months, and they may not let her work again. Yeah. So look, I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to sit in the uncertainty. I'm going to hopefully have a more comfortable body, and I'm going to chat to you guys after it's done and give a report once I've gotten through the murky, swirly, emotional stuff, because that's my way. Yeah, we'll see, right? I'm really hoping for one of those results where you kind of come back to your body and you feel like it's all you and that you really love it. It's like plan for the worst but hope for the best. And then in other random news, and I'm only sharing because I'm a little bit excited, is that I am hoping to be back on a motorbike again soon. So when I'm well, I think I might be well enough to ride a motorbike. And I don't have a car right now because it was my work vehicle, and I wish for independence. And it's not going to be cycling with this level of energy now, is it, in Australia when it's like 37 degrees? So I think a motorbike might just give me that independence that could bring me a great deal of joy. And yes, there's the danger element, but I feel like living life in this body is dangerous. So I'm just going with it. If I can zoom about, having a good time, maintaining my independence, not driving my wife mad, but asking her to drive me everywhere, that'll be really nice. So there's a few like lovely things to look forwards to as well. And in my brain, I can already hear that little like brum with the wind brushing against me, which is just euphoric. And I would love for that to work out. It will work out. I'm putting it out there, so it's happening. So yeah, we'll see. If/when I get a bike, I'll put a picture up just for my own joy. So I think that's it. The work stuff is ongoing. I'm not going to share too much about it because I don't know what's happening. Again, with the uncertainty, it's not my fave, but we'll just see. We'll just see. It'll either be okay or it won't. And if it's not okay, then it's a redirect. There's going to be a lot of feelings around it. I'm already having the feelings, especially around the money and not being the sugar mama and having like a finite amount of money. Yeah, so that's all pretty scary. But again, I think what it's doing is just giving me more insight in how the system works in Australia. And because my wife earns like $100 over the government limit for being able to get me any kind of financial assistance, I'm going to go through the process of releasing some of my super to cover my medical costs because they are astronomical. So when I have gotten a bit further through that process, I think I'm going to pop a video on there as well, because when I don't have the brain fog and I'm feeling a bit better because I'm on the meds and I've got a bit more energy, I have the mental power to kind of work my way through this stuff, and that is a privilege. And I don't know how many people are in that boat or how many people are living in brain fog land and might need like a tutorial. So I'm gonna share that with you guys as well when I've done a bit more and I understand a bit more. So yeah, that's my update. And I don't know. I'm going to try to have another check-in before surgery, but if not, I'll see you on the flip side. All right. Thanks for watching, and click the like and subscribe things because we want to make the YouTube algorithm happy, and I want to be able to keep doing this for you guys. So do it. All right, catch you later.